I'd now like to welcome our next guest speaker to join me, Sinja Hallam. Please join me on stage, Sinja.
Hello, Peace. Lovely to see you again.
Hi, Sinja. Wonderful to see you too. Now, for people who haven't met you before, I would love you to introduce yourself and tell us a bit about you and the work that you do.
Thanks so much. So my name is Sinja Hallam, and I am an executive personal and leadership coach. My background is in male-dominant environments in organizational change management, and over a period of time, I decided to move from change and transformation en masse to change and transformation at individual level. The company that I run now is The Power to Transform. And by that, I show people that the power to transform is within them. There's nothing further that is required other than themselves. And we shine lights into little places that we've forgotten about, like our dreams, as an example. And the work that I do is trying to help women to pursue careers in male-dominant environments and successfully reach the tables of the decision-making protocols that are currently actually being made for us. So having a seat at the table and making decisions on our behalf instead of having them made for us is really important to me. And connecting that with empathy and kindness, so connecting the mind back to the heart and bringing that kindness back into corporations is my whole mission and purpose, which is of which why I am here.
I love that so much, Sinja. The power of kindness is so powerful. Now, your chapter in Begin It Now is called The Power of Following Your Heart and Starting Over. Can you tell us why you chose this title for your chapter?
Absolutely. The title is meaningful to me because for many years, I actually did what was expected of me, what I should do, and what a definition of success looked like for others. And I did that, and I don't have any regrets. The only thing that I was missing for myself was a feeling of satisfaction and fulfillment. And the only way that I could find that is by releasing what I should be doing and actually following what my heart was telling me that I wanted to do. And to do that, there's many times that I had to begin over. And this is why this title was lending itself so much to the book Begin It Now, because I didn't have to begin it now just once. I had to have the courage to begin it now many, many times. And I do it now with my heart and my intuition. It leads me to way more fulfillment and way more success than the shoulds ever did.
Absolutely, absolutely. I love that. And following our intuition is so powerful. You talk about a really powerful example in your chapter where to an outsider, it looked like you had it all. You had an incredible life and were ticking all the boxes. But on the inside, you felt unfulfilled, lonely, numb, and wanting more. But as well as that, you then felt guilty, greedy, and ungrateful for even having those thoughts. Can you tell us about this time and what happened?
Sure. I was working in a corporate environment at the time, looking after about 116 transformational change projects. And it was a big job. There weren't many resources available, and I felt really obligated to make sure that other people were taken care of. What I had forgotten about was myself. And every day I showed up with this, I don't know how to describe the feeling other than this tremor in my body and the feeling of, I think something bad is going to happen really soon. And every day I put myself together. Nobody could see that on the outside, but on the inside, I really felt like I was not going to be, or going to be found out that I wasn't good enough or not successful or not as good as people thought when I first was hired, or that I wasn't going to be able to do the job. And this weighed heavily on me. And eventually, I actually recognized that I needed help. And it happened it crept up on me. And it was in a meeting where I was sitting there and knowing, if I don't do something now, I'm actually going to have a breakdown in front of everybody, which I was too embarrassed to do. So the next meeting I cancelled and went to see or made an appointment with what we call a EAP, Employee Assistance Program. And I realized that I had burnout. And it was subtle, but at the same time significant. I couldn't think straight, I couldn't concentrate, I couldn't read things and remember what I had done 5 minutes before. My body was screaming rest, didn't want to wake up, didn't want to get out of bed, and yet I forced myself every day. And over time that crept into anxiety. And I didn't only do that to myself once, I actually had to learn that lesson twice, because again, I was doing everything that I should do and not the things that I really wanted to do. I was also looking after everybody else, big people pleaser in me, big perfectionist in me as well, being an ex-ballerina. And those were the things that I had to overcome and understand that if I don't fill my cup first, I will have nothing else to give. And if I don't function, other things won't function. And so the biggest lesson that I had to learn was that there is a cost for not following your heart. And if you do follow your heart, that cost is minimized. But to understand that concept, I had to go through the process. Lots of work in that space to undo some of the thinking that I had for myself and what success meant and looked like and should look like.
Yeah, incredible story. And, burnout is, it's growing at an increasing rate, particularly for women, particularly since 2020. I think there's been more and more pressure on women, and lots of women are either approaching burnout or have reached burnout. What do you wish that women knew that you've learned along the way in your journey and the work that you do with women?
Oh gosh, I wish that we would disassociate from guilt when we look after ourselves first. That's the thing that I described in my chapter, is that I had everything and yet I felt guilty for wanting more, or guilty for even asking for help, or guilty for not doing the things that I should be doing because I didn't want to do them anymore. And the disassociating ourselves from guilt and understanding that our well-being is the most important thing. If women are looked after, and I think, Peace, you resonate with this really well, if women are looked after, then the communities and families and organizations and people in teams are looked after. Because when your cup is full, you are resourced to give to others. But when your cup is empty, the resources and the strength isn't there to look after others. And that well-being, if anything costs you your well-being, it's far too expensive. And so understanding that feeling guilty is also far too expensive, and putting resources back into yourself helps you give resources to others, which is how the ripple grows, right? Which is how we rise together. And you can't do everything by yourself. You can do all things, but not at the same time. You can't do all things, but not alone, right? And so asking for help and creating community around you and rising together is how we create change in the world. And recognizing this for myself, understanding that asking for help helps others shine too, because they're adding value to your life, was another one of those lessons that I'd learned in during this process. And I wish that women knew that sooner. And so I'm here to help them not even get to the edges of where I got to. It takes a long time to recover from burnout. There is a lot of inner work and a lot of mental energy that has to go into that. And if I had to tell the truth, it would have probably taken me a year the first time and 8 months the second time to get over it. And that's a lot of lost time.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Sinja, you talk about the fact that you gave yourself permission to dream big, and you also allowed yourself to be imperfect. Can you tell us about this, please?
Yes. For many years, I buried my dreams, but just because I had to do what I thought I should do. And the dream doesn't go away. It sits there and it waits for you to start dancing with it again. So as an ex-ballerina, I love music, I love dancing. And for me, the image of dancing with my dreams is very vivid. And when I allowed myself to do that, when I gave myself permission to do that, I could not have imagined like sitting here with you today. Even 4 years ago, this would have not seemed possible for me. And dancing with my dreams again has made this come true, which is, it's surreal. And I also know though that I made it happen because I allowed myself to follow my heart. And then beginning it again allows me to do many more things and still create those dreams and make them even bigger. Now, just remind me what the second part of the question was, so I may answer that, please.
So, yeah, permission to dream big, but also permission to be imperfect. So allowing yourself to dream big and be imperfect.
Imperfect, yes. So being a ballerina, you can imagine that there's a lot of perfection that's tied to that, right? But there is a difference between perfection and excellence. And the difference, my ballet master told me, one gets you to the stage and the other one doesn't. So perfection won't get you to the stage because what you're trying to do subconsciously is not receive the criticism. And there might be fear underneath that, or you're just trying to go, if I don't get the criticism, that means I've done well. But when you're looking at doing something and you want to get to a place where very few people get to, i.e. on the stage in a ballet company, you need that feedback to be able to do that. So now I don't even look at trying to be perfect. I look for that feedback as fast as I can get it, because getting that feedback allows me and my dreams and my heart to go where it needs to go. Getting the feedback early allows me to make the decisions that I might not be able to make if I wait a lot longer. And so the lesson again, and I talk about that in my chapter, is let yourself be imperfect so that you can begin again if you need to, again and again. Just have the courage to do so, because you just do not know where it's going to get you. And I love that for myself, but also for other women, because so many of us follow perfection. What does a perfect life look like, right? But in that, life is actually quite messy. So let's make that the normality, and let us allow ourselves to be that imperfectly perfect, I guess, is how you might call it.
I love that. I love that so much. And yes, I think it's so important that we allow ourselves the permission to dream big, but also the permission to be imperfect on the journey to achieving those dreams, because it doesn't always happen in a linear way. It's not always easy.
Totally.
Well, thank you Yes, thank you so much for being here, Sinja. I've really enjoyed chatting with you, and thank you so much for your chapter in Begin It Now. I know that our readers are going to love reading it and really resonate with your wisdom and advice.
Thank you so much for allowing me to be in the book, and I'm so grateful to all of the co-authors that are in this book as well. I can't put the book down. The stories are so powerful, so transformational, and really give others the permission to begin it now.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Sinja. And thank you everyone who's tuned in today. You can grab your copy of Begin It Now at wcwpress.com. All right. Well, we will see you again next time. Thank you so much for being here, Sinja and Jessica. I've really enjoyed chatting with you. And thanks, everyone. We'll see you again soon. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Thank you.